We'll proceed in summation to integral calculus. Okay, tireless discussion we are making in summation to integral calculus. In that way, we are presenting vector, mind-blowing, amazing vector. Everyone want to understand where is the begin and where is the end. If I talk about the Srishti means the livelihood, the universe. Okay, where it begins, no one knows. Where universe begins, no one knows. Where it ends, no one knows. Okay, people have references from the holy book, the religious book. I know Gita. I have heard Gita. I have not read Gita. I have heard Gita. And there Lord Krishna or King Krishna, he is talking about universe is infinite. There is no end of universe. Universe is infinite. This is what King Krishna talks in Gita. Where universe or where the people live Srishti. Okay, I don't know exact English. This is Sanskrit word that is used in Gita. Srishti. Okay, so where this whatever the people are living now, or the living in embody, where it starts, where is the begin? If I see a kind of any electronic circuit, then we try to find out where it begins. We search for the battery, and from battery the circuit begins. There, current enters into the electronic circuit, and it exits at the output. If I put a speaker or whatsoever, where is the entry and where is the exit? If someone understand it, then in between, full science exists. Where is the beginning and where is the end? In between, full science actually it works. What is the beginning of the mathematics? Then we call it numerical science is the beginning of mathematics. What is the end of mathematics? Then it is called vector is the end of mathematics. Why vector is end of mathematics? Because vector talks about the magnitude, that is the numeric, and vector talks about the direction, that is the extra thing that vector brings in, direction and numerical. Okay. In algebra also we have the direction. In algebra also we have the direction. Like if I say my line equation is y equal to x square, line equal to y equal to x square, or y equal to 4x. Y equal to 4x is considered as the linear equation. Okay, it is a formula of a straight line. Y equal to x square is non-linear. The formula is of a curve that also talks about the direction, but it is not that much explicit the way it is in vector. Okay, how you describe y equal to x square? You tell me how you describe a line that is y equal to x square. You tell me. Anyone would ask. Okay, that we will talk about. So vector is an entity which clearly distinguish the distinct. It clearly make a distinction, separate out the magnitude and direction. It is the first entity which talks about the energy, which has a direction and which has a magnitude. What is beyond a vector? Okay, if vector means in one direction, if energy is going moving in one direction, then it has magnitude and direction. Magnitude and direction. What about if energy is moving like this in a curved manner, not in a straight line? Then you have set of vector. At every moment you have different vector. The vector is a straight line. Every moment you have different vector. You are trying to say that combination of family of vectors they make the curved line. Yes, family of a vector. Then how you represent a family of a vector? That is called algebraic vector or vector field. A vector whose components are not a numerical number like 2i plus 3j. It's a vector. Vector whose direction is 2i plus 3j divided by 2 square plus 3 square root. And its magnitude is square root of 2 square plus 3 square. That is the magnitude. So this is a vector. If vector is moving in this fashion, changing as per this is x-axis, this is y-axis. With the x, different x vector is changing. Or if I have a third variable as independent component, time or theta. Theta can be in x and y plane. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. This is xy plane. In xy plane, if I have a line, can I have a line that will be in variation of something else, not in x and y? Possible. Okay, like polar coordinates. It is in variation of theta and r, where this is Cartesian coordinate system purely x-axis and y-axis. Still, I can have a line that is in variation of theta and r, not in variation of x and y. Okay, certainly x and y would be related to theta and r with some function. But these are the scenario. Okay, so if I have a something energy and direction, and it is changing every time if I move in x, then that is called vector field. The energy, the vector what we describe, its components are in algebra. If you keep changing x, the vector will start changing. Okay, what is beyond the vector field? If I understand now that if I go beyond numerical science, I enter into algebra, variable. Algebra can be manipulated through calculus. Calculus is not a special science the way algebra is a numerical science. So algebra can be manipulated through calculus. Calculus works on algebra. Okay. Beyond algebra, then we have vector. Vector has direction and magnitude, where magnitude can keep changing. If magnitude is changing, if I have a vector, and magnitude of a vector is nothing but its component, a square and a square root. If that magnitude is changing, means vector direction is also changing. Then it is called vector field. Okay, okay, understood. We have many vector. Vector field means changeable. Okay. What is beyond a vector field? Now, vector, I understand a set of family of vectors is algebraic vector. What is beyond a vector? Matrix. Matrix. That is beyond a vector. Oh, but you said there is nothing beyond the vector. Okay. The family of vector field, family of vector field, we can call it a matrix. Matrix where we have set of row. Matrix is nothing but a set of row. Makes sense? So one row is one vector. If matrix has n number of row, it is combination of n vector, where each vector has component as per the column. Oh, how you can prove that? Can you give one example like that? Yes, certainly. Consider that there is an input. There is input. Input are three input are there. There is input. Three input are there. Makes sense? Okay, this is one input, this is another input, this is another. What is input? Consider there is a cable through which electrical signals are coming. Three cable, one cable, second cable, third cable. Three cable are there. Okay, there is a media in between. Media can be air or whatsoever. And then there are no there are two outputs. There are three inputs and there are two outputs. Make sense? Okay. What is the combination? These three inputs would correspond to one output. There is one output. Consider one output. Now there are three inputs. There is a media. Media is some media. Any media can be there. Water, air, or whatsoever. And there is single output. Okay. These three wires can be connected to single output. I believe I am clear in my point. Okay, consider three inputs. These are the three inputs. Okay, where is one more? Okay, okay. This is the okay. This is the another one. My favorite sugar cane. Okay, this is another one. So there are three inputs. There are up. There are three inputs. So signal is coming from three input, and these three input is connected to one output, not through wire, through a medium. Okay, if it is a medium, then output declares that what fraction of first input should come to me. I mean, media declares. Now output now what is the science here? The first C, consider it is x1, x2, x3. There are three inputs coming, and there is one output called y1. Okay, y1 equal to alpha into x1. The media will it will do some kind of it will I am not remembering exact, but it will place some kind of resistance to the signal that is coming from the wire number one. Okay, now it attenuation, that is the better word, attenuation. Now I can write y1 equal to alpha into x1, means x1 signal get attenuated alpha times, plus beta into x2, plus gamma into x3. Now this is y1. Okay. Now can we see here there are two vectors here? Can we see there are three vectors? Okay. Where is the vector? Where you brought it? Okay. If three x1, x2, x3, three signals are there, can I represent as x1i plus x2j plus x3k? Okay. Thank you very much. What is next? Okay, if that is the case, then can I write this alpha, beta, and gamma? These are the attenuation factor for the x1, x2, x3. Alpha I plus beta gamma. I'm sorry, alpha I plus beta j plus gamma k. Okay, what do you mean? Okay, this is what I mean. If I do dot product of x1, x2, x3 vector x1, x2, x3 with another vector alpha, beta, gamma, alpha I plus beta j plus gamma k, x1 I plus x2 j plus x3. If I do dot product, exactly I am getting y1. Y1 is nothing but x1 I plus x2 j plus x3 k dot product with alpha I, that is the attenuation, alpha I plus beta j plus gamma k. If I do dot product, I get y1. Okay, what about if I have y2 also? What about if I have y2 also? Now I have three input and two output. One is y1 and one is y2. What is y1? Y1 equal to alpha 1 x1 plus alpha 2 x2 plus alpha 1 x1 plus alpha beta 1 x2 plus gamma 1 x3. That is the y1. What is y2? Y2 is alpha 2 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus beta gamma 2 x3. Consider in this fashion. Misattenuation factor for the x1, x2, x3, that it will be attenuated. For y1, that is the difference. And x1, x2, x3, that will get attenuated to form y2 output. There are two output now. There are two output now. But output are 2 and input are 3. Okay, now these three will reach y1 with one attenuation factor, that is alpha 1, beta 1, and gamma 1. These three will reach y2 with another attenuation factor, alpha 2, beta 2, and gamma 2. Okay, in this fashion, now we can write y1 equal to alpha 1 x1 plus beta 1 x2 plus gamma 1 x3. Now we can write another one y2, that was y1 equal to alpha 2 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus gamma 2 x3. Okay, now we have now three vectors. We have four vectors. One vector is x1, x2, x3, x1I plus x2j plus x3k. Another vector is alpha 1I plus alpha 2j plus, alpha 1I plus beta 1j plus gamma 1k. Another vector. That is called attenuation vector, that output y1 is keeping. Output y2 has another attenuation vector. That is alpha 2I plus beta 2j plus gamma 2k. Now we have three vectors. There is a fourth vector, that is y1I plus y2j. Okay, consider there is a third output. That is over. That is over. Can I arrange this in a simpler manner? That is called matrix. That is called matrix. Now a matrix which has number of output as row. If there are two output, then there are two rows, and the weight vector as column. Okay, since weight vector correspond to input, then input number of input will be the number of column. But the what is stored there is the weight vector. Now I have a matrix now. Matrix has number of output as number of row. There are two rows because two outputs are there. And each column corresponds to the components of the way of the attenuation vector. For output 1, that is the first row. All three are alpha 1, beta 1 and gamma 1. Three columns. Second row, y2, alpha 2, beta 2, gamma 2. Now it will be multiplied with another matrix. It will do dot product of a vector with another one. What is that? That has three rows. That has three rows. Okay. X1, X2, X3, one column. That is called input. If I do matrix multiplication, or if I do dot product, dot product, okay, multiplication is a dot product. Yes, multiplication is nothing but it's a pure dot product. Okay, dot product. I never thought that matrix is combination of vectors only. That's it. Matrix is extension of or packing a set of vectors in in a two dimension. That's it. Okay, now it is pretty easy now. Now I have a one matrix where rows are number or outputs and columns are weight, attenuation, weight for each output. Then there is another matrix which is column 1. There is only one column and three rows. And that is another vector of the input. Input vector, attenuation vector, output vector. How is it true that the input vector can be only one column? Who stops? Who stops you? You can make input vector multiple column also. What it means? It means that if there are three wire, then set of output input that are coming that are sampled now. In one sample, at one time I am seeing input as 2 volt, 3 volt, and 4 volt. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Next sampling if I am making, then it is coming as zero point 0.5 volt, zero point 0.4 volt, zero point 0.2 volt, zero point 0.5, zero point 0.4, zero point 0.2. Next sampling I am taking out, taken growing. Oh, it looks like set of vector. Can I make it an algebraic vector? You can make it. Okay. Can I go for algebraic vector in terms of attenuation? This is beyond it. This is the story of vector. Is it the end? This probably is the vector is the end. But now you can arrange a vector in many forms. There are two ways vector can multiply with another vector. If I have one energy source and another energy source, they can multiply in two ways. One is called dot product and one is called what is that? Dot product and scalar product. Okay, dot product and scalar product. Okay, dot product and cross product. Dot product and cross product. There are two products. Where cross product is coming into the picture? If I have a matrix, I know there are two type of vector. One is output vector and one is attenuation vector. If I try to calculate the magnitude of vector, consider it is 2 by 2. The vector is 2 by 2. Okay, 2 by 2 means there are two inputs. So, I'm sorry, two outputs are there, and with each output there are two attenuation factors are there. If someone is, I don't know, at this point it is not required, but if someone is crazy, then he can multiply the first first row first column with the last row last column minus first row last column and last row first column, cross product. Cross product. Okay, this is called calculating the determinant of a matrix. People just remember it. Okay, understood and understood. One is called matrix multiplication. Understood. One is determinant of matrix. Determinant of matrix is nothing but taking cross product of two vectors. Multiplication of two matrices are nothing but calculating dot product of two vectors. That's it. Okay. When I should calculate determinant, when you need dot cross product of two vectors, then only you need determine calculating determinant. No one people they go with PhD and here and there, immediately they will calculate determinant. Don't know what is determinant of the matrix. Okay, if I have a this vector, if I have a this vector, then if I do cross product of this vector, that is considered as the area between these vectors. Okay, that you can find through these two vectors, placing in a matrix and calculating the determinant. Or someone say, what is cross product? Cross product is nothing but this vector has essence on this side and it has essence on this side. If this is the vector and this is the angle, if I calculate the magnitude of this vector and multiply by sinusoidal of this theta, then this vector sine theta will be its essence on vertical, that will be less. If I multiply this vector with cos theta, this vector magnitude cos theta will come as in this direction. Okay, whatever is in this direction, if I multiply whatever the sinusoidal comes, if I multiply these two, if this is the vector and if I multiply with the sine theta, it will become smaller and its direction will be exactly vertical. Then if I multiply these two, then it will give the area. This is what is the cross product. Okay, you mean cross product will be less than whatever magnitude of these two if I multiply certainly, or equal if theta is 90 degrees. Otherwise, that is the cross product. Means, okay, what is dot product then? What is essence of this vector along this axis? That is this vector magnitude cos theta into this vector magnitude. That is dot product. Dot product means how the what is the kind of mathematics I can say through which they are in same direction. What is the essence or what is the calculation through which I understand that how much they are in same direction. What is the probability someone would say in better word? What is the fraction I can say or percentage that these two vectors are in same direction? If they are in 90 degree, then they are certainly orthogonal. Then dot product will be 0. Okay, cross product means what is the essence or probability or percentage that these two vectors are orthogonal to each other. One is in same direction, one is orthogonal, completely unrelated. Orthogonal means unrelated. Okay, 90 degree means they are completely unrelated or they are completely related. Dot product means two vectors are completely related to each other. How much? Cross product means they are completely unrelated to each other. How much? But it is area. That is side effect. Okay, area gives how much they are unrelated to each other. Dot product gives how much they are related to each other. Unrelated means if this is the if consider that this is a train, this is a train, and it will move only in this. I have taken example of train means it will catch the track. Train cannot go here and there. Also. It will move in this direction only. If I apply force in this direction, exactly perpendicular, train will be there only. It will not move. Means force and displacement, they are completely unrelated to each other. Not related. If they are not related, then force effect will not happen on train at all. Okay, it means that if I want to see how much displacement is making, then I have to see how much they are completely related to each other. They are in same direction. What is the area? What is the area between these two vectors? That is how much they are completely unrelated to each other. If they are completely related to each other, there won't be any area in between. Now, people can take examples also in real life that how where it is kind of applicable. Okay, tell me one example where it is applicable. Okay, I don't know. I had one. When you search, then item will not be at that place. Oh, it's there. Okay, consider. Okay, now consider that I want to place this inside something. I want to place. I have some something to rotate. Now I'll catch it. I okay. This is like this. Now I'm catching it. Now if I rotate like this, it will go inside. Okay, like this. Now screw. If I'm tightening on a screw, consider this is a screw, and then I'm tightening the screw. Then I'm rotating like this. Can you see something? Direction of the movement is in this direction, and energy I am placing exactly 90 degrees to it. Okay, but you said energy has to be in same direction. Depends upon what you want. Here I want completely unrelated energy. Energy direction must be unrelated to the direction of the movement. This is the requirement. Train requirement is different, but here requirement is different. Here it will come as how these two forces, the force I am applying, if consider this is xy plane, consider this is xy plane and this is z axis. Force I am applying on the xy plane, and I am considering the displacement where it will go actually, that is z axis. Now how much the force and displacement are unrelated to each other, then I will take cross product. What do you mean? Okay, if I do like this, then probably I won't be able to do it at all. I want in this manner only. That full I can apply. If force to which I am rotating, and this is in same direction, it will not work. Means these two are completely zero orthogonal to each other, completely related to each other. I don't want relation. I want unrelated. Okay. In the if I want unrelated, then I have to apply at 90 degree. These are the concept of the vector. Okay, we are in discussion for the summation and integration, dividing problem into n different parts and then adding it and make a big part, make the complete solution. Summation and integral calculus. Okay, there we are taking example. There we are taking example of the circle, and in the circle we have taken the x-axis and y-axis. X-axis I x-axis I chop it into n parts. Against each part, consider this is x axis, and it goes from minus a to a. It goes from minus a to a. I chop into n part, then one part width is 2a by n. 2a by n. What I'm trying to calculate perimeter of a circle. Then if I take this part and go up, it will hit this section. This is the perimeter of the circle for the any part. Okay, calculate it and then add it. Consider for the perimeter of the circle that belongs to ith part, this parameter is pi. Then summation I equal to 1 to n, because it chopped into n part. Pi. It will give circumference half of it. Then I have to multiply by 2 to get the full circumference. Now question is arising that how we use vector here. The concept of using vector here is consider that I am taking ith part. This is the ith part. This is origin. This is the ith part. Ith part will go up here and it will meet here. This part and this part. Here, this is the vector number 1, beginning of the ith part. This is vector number 2, beginning of the end of the ith part. This is the end of the ith part. This is the beginning of the ith part. It come as ith part here. Okay. Now, how to calculate the distance between these two? If I get, that is the pi, perimeter of the ith section. Summation I equal to 1 to n pi, perimeter of the ith section. How I calculate the perimeter of the ith section? Perimeter, to get the perimeter of the ith section, we have talked about the perimeter of the ith. I know one thing in the vector terminology. Vector can be multiplied with dot product and cross product. Vector can be multiplied and vector can be subtracted. Vector can be added also. Okay, if these are the two vectors, if these are the two vectors, one vector is going along the x-axis and one vector is going along y-axis, they are meeting at the origin, then this is addition of the vector. There will be a single vector that will go in between x-axis and y-axis. If this is a vector, this is a vector and this is another vector. If I subtract, there will be a third vector that will go along like this. Okay, subtraction come from addition only. Now someone can try. If this is the vector that is x1 xi plus yj, and this is another vector that is x2 plus y2j, x1i plus x2i plus y2j. If you subtract, then y resultant vector will go like this. Someone has to calculate. If this is I and this is j, then next vector is I plus j. If it is I and it is j, the next vector is I minus j. What is I minus j? I means this and minus j means it is going along this axis. If I do combination of these two, then it will go like this. So I minus j will go like this. I plus j will go like this. Makes sense? If I say it is going like this against these two vectors, if I have two vectors, if I do the subtraction, then it will go like this. If I have two vectors, then if I do addition, then it will go in between like this. Okay, means if I want to calculate this length, then if I have this vector and this vector, if I calculate subtraction, there will be another vector that will go along this length. Okay, now we have dp by dx. I'm sorry, this is called change in position vector. If this is, if there is, we are talking about the ith section. We are talking about the ith section. When I chop this x-axis into n part, we are talking about the ith section. Ith section go up and meet the circumference at 2 points. One point is P1 and one point is P2. In between, it will come here and it is delta xi. What is P1 minus P2? P1 minus P2 is the vector that connecting these 2 points, and that is a straight line. If I calculate the magnitude of P1 minus P2, it will give the magnitude of this straight line, not the curve. Makes sense? Okay, this is the concept when delta x, delta x is some width is there. Okay, now if I say delta p by delta p by delta x, okay, and its magnitude per delta xi width, how much length of the change in vector I see? Okay, how much the change dp delta p means delta p means I have change in position vector minus in the position vector delta p by delta x, delta p by delta xi. If I say, if I just say delta pi magnitude, it will give the length of this straight line that is created because of delta xi. Okay, that is one thing. Second thing is delta p by delta xi. If I say like that, then it will say how much change I am seeing because of one unit of change. Makes sense? If I have two bags. One bag is full of orange and one bag is full of tamarind. If I say I have two instances of the two two instances in the tamarind bag. One time tamarind was 10 and one time tamarind was 20. How much change in the tamarind I am saying? 20. 20 minus 10. 20 minus 10. भैया कल मिलेगा वैसे भी कल बहुत कोशिश की देंगे आज आज बहुत ही अच्छा है बहुत मेहरबान और बता देगा ऐसा है क्या अच्छी है वो तो ऐसी एक कमिटमेंट है बाद में 7 तारीख को भी चलता था नेक्स्ट मंथ आपको 7 तारीख को मैं आप 2 बजे मेरे से मिलेंगे क्या 2 बजे हाँ मैं निकलता हूँ नाश्ता हो गया और गरीब आदमी का क्या थोड़ा बहुत सवेरे खा लिया आप ऐसा आइटम कौन में नहीं खाता फल नहीं खाते आप फल कौन खाता है भगवान ही खाता है चलिए हो अब टाइम मत लीजिए 2 बजे 2 बजे मिलिए 2 बजे I have two instances in the tamarind bag. I have orange bag and I have tamarind bag. I have taken two instances in the tamarind bag. In one instance, I have 10 tamarind. In another instance, I have 20 tamarind. What is the change in tamarind I am saying? 10. 20 minus 10. 10. 10 tamarind change in the tamarind I am saying. Now, when there was 10 tamarind, at that time I 10 tamarind, then I had kind of two oranges. Now, when there is 20 tamarind, then I have four oranges. Then, if I say what is the change in tamarind you are saying, then 20 minus 10, two instances I have taken. It is changing. Two instances of the tamarind bag I have taken. Then 20 minus 10, that is DT, change in the tamarind. How much change in tamarind I am seeing per orange? Okay, what is the change in tamarind I am seeing per orange change? Then divide by how much orange change. When I have taken one snapshot, at that time there was 10 tamarind. If I am taking another snapshot, then one snapshot with 10 tamarind is there. At that snapshot, there are two oranges are there. In next snapshot, I have 20 tamarind here and I have 4 oranges here in the orange bag. What is the change in the tamarind? 20 minus 10. What is change in the tamarind per orange? 20 minus 10 by 4 minus 2. Similarly, what is the change in the position vector? If I have taken ith section of the cut here, it goes up, then this is the first position vector, this is second position vector. What is the difference in the position? That will come as this. Okay, that is P1 minus P2 or P2 minus P1. That is the difference I am getting. What is the difference per x-axis? Then you will divide by delta xi. Means delta P by delta x is per unit, not per delta x, per unit, per unit. Okay, what is the science behind per unit? Why we are going with the per unit? Because people would put question mark here. You are calculating the length of a vector p1 minus p2, but it is coming like a coarse manner. It is not along the curve. It should be along the curve. Consider delta x is very small. Those fundamental arena. This is what we have talked in the last video. Consider delta x is very small. Consider it is 1 unit. Then it will go along the curve. How I can prove that it will go along the curve? Delta p by delta x, that is change in p per unit change in x. If I calculate the magnitude, it is per magnitude per unit x. If I say delta p is generated because there was delta xi. What is the magnitude of delta x? This is the magnitude of delta x, magnitude of delta p. What is the magnitude of delta p? This is the cross vector. What is the magnitude? This is a straight line magnitude. What is the magnitude of delta p? The magnitude of delta p, what we are saying, it is because of delta x. It is because of delta xi. Okay. Now, but that this is what I want. If there is a delta x, if there is a delta x, if there is a delta x, go and hit this. I want this circumference. What is your net calculation? Summation I equal to 1 to n perimeter of the IS section. This is the perimeter of the IS section. If I use vector, concept is how to use vector in summation. If I use vector, then at this point, this is the vector. This point, this is the vector. And this two vector got generated because of the delta xi. Because of the delta xi, what is the perimeter length? If I talk in vector, then that length will come as a straight line length, not the along the curve length. Okay, for delta xi in the on x-axis, what is the parameter length? That is p1 minus p2 magnitude. No, 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 that is the straight line length. I want curve length. Okay, okay, how to get that? If I say delta p by delta xi, then I can say per unit change in x, per unit change in x per unit change in x brings how much? Or if I just say delta p, then delta p is brought in by delta xi. This is what I want. With delta xi on x-axis, what is the arc? But that is not the arc. Delta p magnitude is the magnitude of this vector. One vector, another vector subtraction is this vector. Okay, this vector magnitude is the straight line magnitude, not the curve magnitude. Okay, that is the one thing, that is delta P because of delta Xi. This is what I want. How to calculate delta P in terms of a curve line, not as a straight line. Okay, with a intersection on x-axis at delta Xi. That is the minute. Our channel name is miniature science. Why? How I can proceed now with a miniature science? In last video we talked about dp by dx, delta p by delta x magnitude will give the magnitude of one vector where the x is 1, means infinitesimal small. If I know that, then if I multiply by delta x, then I'll get, okay, people would contradict here. It is that does not look like very smooth explanation. Okay, I believe it is a long duration. We will talk in the next session that how the it will actually if we are using vector terminology to calculate the ith section curve, then how we can proceed here. Please do not mind supporting us, or please mind supporting. +91 is the India country code. 9483160610 is the telephone number. +91 is the India country code. 9483160610 is the telephone number.